state. When it goes on shore is pretty irrelevant. It's more of a technicality and kind of a thing folks like to pay attention to.
Correspondent Jim Chrysoulas in Wilmington, where the eye of the storm is expected.
I'm Jim Chrysoulas in Wilmington, North Carolina. Coastal residents are awakening to the full-blown effects of Hurricane Florence. Rain pounded down overnight, strong wind gusts rattled doors and windows, lightning flashed, and thunder rumbled and echoed.
Farther west, the mayor of New Bern, Dana Outlaw, says they had a storm surge of at least 10 feet.
It was 10.5 feet, and we thought 7 feet a couple of years ago with Irene was a lot of water. The difference, not only the height, but Irene was in and out within a half hour. And this one is, it's just been around for a while.
Thousands are without power in North Carolina as the outer bands of Hurricane Florence have reached the coast. As of 5 a.m. today, 350,000 people are without power in the state, some from Duke Energy customers, while Christy Aldridge is with the North Carolina Cooperatives.
Right now we are seeing outages rise along the southeastern coast and through southeastern North Carolina. And we have currently about 120,000 outages, and we do expect that number to continue to tick up.
There are thousands also without power under Duke Energy's flag. And again, the eye of Hurricane Florence has reached shore. You're listening to NCN News.
Sometimes the simplest things can make the biggest difference. An extra pair of hands, a smile, or a shoulder. At North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance, we feel the same about home and auto coverage, affordable rates, trusted service, and local agents. After all, making one simple difference in your life helps you make a big difference in another's. Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
Carolina Hurricanes single game tickets are on sale now. Take warning as the Canes host the New York Islanders at PNC Arena to kick off the 2018-2019 season on Thursday, October 4th. Full season, 22-game and 11-game flex plans also are available, offering tickets starting as low as $16 per game. For more information and to secure your seats for opening night, visit carolinahurricanes.com/tickets. Canes, Islanders, October 4th. Be there.
Hurricane Florence is on shore on the coast of North Carolina, packing 90-mile-per-hour winds and dumping heavy rain and storm surge in the area. John Cangalosi of the National Hurricane Center describes the impact of the storm.
Much of coastal North Carolina has really been getting a lot of impacts from the system. We've already seen reports of significant storm surge across eastern North Carolina, with some locations receiving 10 feet of storm surge.
Pam Walker of the Department of Public Safety talks more about the areas that are flooded with the rescue of residents.
We have 2 teams of more than 100 people that are in the Craven County area, in the New Bern area, and they were pre-positioned because we knew that New Bern and Craven County was going to be an area that needed rescue teams on standby for severe flooding.
Brian Bass is a volunteer firefighter in Curry Beach. He tells ABC 11 the mood was very quiet just after midnight.
Actually, we had really good response with the evacuation. It's pretty quiet. It's eerily quiet around here. I was actually taking a video not too long ago about how quiet it was right before the sun went down.
In Leland, near Wilmington, hotels that stayed open are full of coastal residents escaping the hurricane. Some are even completely full. Many are worried that they may not be able to get back home. Mark Campbell of Carolina Beach tells WWAY Florence is a big concern.
It was a Category 4 for a while, and then 3, and we just don't want to take any chances. Human life's more important than material things, so.
The city of Kinston is bracing for Florence. Mayor Don Hines tells WNCT News they've been preparing for Florence all week.
We've been getting people in place. We have people on standby, public utilities, swift water rescue teams from across the state. So we are very prepared. I just want the citizens of Kinston to know that we are ready to go, and we're here to do whatever it takes to keep our city safe.
Mike Rayleigh.
AM 590 WCAB Rutherfordton with FM translator service on W265DW at 100.9.
From ABC News, I'm Jim Ryan in Wilmington, North Carolina, port of entry for Hurricane Florence. The eye wall has crossed the shoreline. When the center meets the coast, landfall will be official. Even before that happens, flooding has prompted around 150 high water rescues in New Bern, North Carolina.
This is Ryan Burrow in Fayetteville, North Carolina, where the wind has picked up and the rain has started falling. The biggest concern here, flooding, perhaps up to 20 inches of rain in a span of 2 days. This woman was one of the few motorists out on the street early Friday morning, filling up with gas before heading home to
relax. Hope let the Lord do his work.
Hundreds of people are already in 7 shelters spread out across this city.
This is Pete Combs in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. The very good news here is the tide is out, and that's being helped by the fact that the winds we are getting at 28 to 41 miles an hour are pushing the water out to sea. These are winds blowing from shore to sea. For right now, there's no threat of storm surge.
The darkness has been illuminated by green flashes as transformers blow up. More than 320,000 people across the state have lost electricity. I'm Jim Ryan, ABC News in Wilmington, North Carolina. Now with more news, here's Sherry Preston.
FEMA head Brock Long has just spoken to ABC News.
Florence is doing exactly as the forecasters told us. We're seeing storm surge. We're seeing the ocean rise 9 feet. We're seeing battering winds that are coming in. The power's going out.
One person dead, several other hurt after an apparent gas explosion. Several of them in towns north of Boston. Thousands of buildings have been evacuated. The trial is set to start soon in the Chicago cop accused of killing an African-American teenager.
Opening statements in the trial of Officer Jason Van Dyke scheduled to begin on Monday after jury selection wrapped up faster than anticipated. But his attorneys are still weighing whether jurors should decide his fate or whether a bench trial by judge would be more favorable.
CBC's Mark Remillard. Sources tell ABC News former Trump campaign chair Paul Manafort has reached a tentative deal ahead of his obstruction charge trial. This is ABC News.
Good news. You are not stuck with your health care plan. Really. You have a choice, and it's a great one. It's called MediShare, and if you've heard about it and wondered what exactly it is, it's a way that people share their healthcare bills, and these are people who have a common faith, who want to be part of something beautiful that not only meets their healthcare needs, but the needs of others too. And it's people who love to save money, big time. MediShare members typically save $500 a month per family on their healthcare costs. That is a life changer for people. So this could be for you. Maybe it's what you've been looking for, a way to pay healthcare bills that's not only very smart financially, but it's even profound. MediShare is a nonprofit with 400,000 members nationwide who pray for and share with each other. So yes, you're not stuck. There's another way, and it could save you a lot. Hit *324 to find out how much you can save on your healthcare. Message and data rates may apply. That's *324.
Head of the Congressional Hispanic Caucus now turning down a White House invitation to attend a reception for Hispanic Heritage Month.
New Mexico Democratic Congressman Michelle Lujan Grisham saying she won't attend the president's Hispanic Heritage reception because Mr. Trump ended the Dreamer program. She also rejected the invitation in part because Mr. Trump ended the temporary protected status for refugees from El Salvador, Honduras, and Nicaragua, and the president's policy of separating parents and children at the border. Andy Field, ABC News, Washington.
President Obama, though, on the campaign trail in Cleveland, pushing Democrats to vote in November.
When you hear these folks bragging about this economic miracle, just remember when it started. Just remember when the ball got rolling.
In the New York primary, actress Cynthia Nixon lost to Governor Andrew Cuomo, but she says her campaign is part of a bigger progressive fight.
The blue wave is real, and that it is not only coming for Republicans, it is coming for Democrats who act like them.
Another step for North and South Korea. The two countries have opened up their first liaison office near the border. This comes just days before the leaders of the North and the South are set to meet for the third time this year. They will hold a summit in a few days in Pyongyang. This is ABC News.
Confused by all the talk about a good night's sleep? There's a lot of new mattress companies, but they're all missing something. They're missing expertise. Introducing Tomorrow, the new mattress and sleep system from Serta Simmons Bedding. Tomorrow is great sleep, delivered right to your door. Try the Tomorrow mattress for 365 nights risk-free at tomorrowsleep.com. Use promo code AWAKE4 for $125 off. tomorrowsleep.com.
I'm Sherry Preston, ABC News.
Deer season has arrived, and Oakland Feed and Seed has what you need for the season. Buck jam and buck forage oats, 6-way deer forage mix, and 5-way deer forage mix. Check on the winter peas, molasses, 1 gallon and 2.5 gallon. Oakland Feed and Seed carries chicory, deer greens, dried molasses, beet juice, and more. If you're a deer hunter or want to be, go see Oakland Feed and Seed. Also, grass season is coming soon, and you can be ready with 17-17-17 fertilizer and 10-10-10 fertilizer, K31 fescue, and 5-star turf fescue. Make Oakland Feed and Seed your first stop because they have it all. Oakland Road, Spindale.
Florence off to our east. We'll finish out the week mostly cloudy, windy, and humid today. A few bands of scattered showers or storms, mostly over the Piedmont counties. Highs will reach about 80 to 85. Tonight, cloudy with some areas of rain. The best chance is still over the Piedmont, with lows in the upper 60s to low 70s. Lots of clouds for Saturday. It'll be windy at times tomorrow. A better chance of rain and rain showers. Some could be heavy in the south. Highs tomorrow 72 to 77. I'm meteorologist Mike Moss in the Weather Center.
We are going under that flash flood watch this evening through all the way through Tuesday, as a matter of fact, with some flash flood activity expected for all of western North Carolina, the foothills, including Rutherford, Polk, McDowell, Burke County, Caldwell, all the areas close to us under this flash flood watch. In effect, coming into effect late tonight all the way through Tuesday of next week, from Saturday morning through Monday evening, early Tuesday morning. Heavy rains from Hurricane Florence is expected to come our way. I don't know how much to expect, but it is expecting to be pretty heavy starting sometime late this evening or this afternoon. Right now we're starting out at cloudy skies and 70 degrees, expecting the precipitation amounts about less than 1/10 of an inch today, but wind gusting to 22 miles per hour today. So that's the way it shapes up for us right here, and anticipating the rain coming later on tonight or possibly tomorrow and Sunday. Now I have these death announcements. William Bruce Hodge, age 87, of Rutherfordton, passed away Thursday at Hospice of the Carolina Foothills. Services will be held on Sunday, September 16th at 2 o'clock at Crow's Funeral Chapel. The family will gather 1 hour prior to the service. Burial will be private. Crow's Mortuary is assisting the family of William Bruce Hodge. Brenda Faulkner Browning, 75, of Rutherfordton, died Tuesday, September the 11th, at her home. The funeral service will be at Spindale Fellowship Holiness Church at 2 o'clock today. The body will lie in state 30 minutes prior to the service in the sanctuary. Burial will be at Eternal Hills Memorial Park in Forest City. McMahon's Funeral Home and Cremation Services in charge of the arrangements for Brenda Browning. Myra Jane Kelly, aged 52, of Forest City, passed away Sunday, September 9th, at her residence. A memorial service to celebrate Myra's life will be conducted at 5 o'clock today at the Harrelson Funeral Chapel. The family will receive friends 1 hour prior to service time at the funeral home. Harrelson Funeral and Cremation Services has been entrusted with the arrangements for Myra Jane Kelly. Miss Bonnie June Towery McLean, 64, of Ellenboro, died Tuesday at Hospice of the Carolina Foothills in Forest City. The funeral will be conducted at 4 o'clock today at Washburn and Dorsey Funeral Home. Burial will follow in the Eternal Hills Memorial Park. Visitation will be from 2 until 3:45 today at the funeral home prior to the service. At other times, the family will gather at 1774 Oak Grove Church Road, Ellenboro. Washburn and Dorsey Funeral and Cremation Services, serving the family of Miss Bonnie June Towery McLean. Margaret Yelton, age 94, formerly of Henrietta, now from Belmont, passed away Wednesday at Hospice of the Carolina Foothills in Landrum. The funeral service will be conducted at 1 o'clock today at the Harrelson Funeral Chapel. The family will receive friends 1 hour prior to the service time at the funeral home. Burial will follow the service in Rutherford County Memorial Cemetery. Harrelson Funeral and Cremation Services, serving the family of Margaret Yelton. Mr. Vernon Kenneth Ken Epley, 78, of Bostic, died Wednesday at Holly Spring Nursing Home. The funeral will be conducted at 2 o'clock Saturday at the Glenwood Baptist Church. Burial will follow in the church cemetery with military rites rendered by the Rutherford County Honor Guard. Visitation will be from 6 until 8 this evening at Glenwood Baptist Church. Washburn and Dorsey Funeral Home and Cremation Services in charge of the arrangements for Mr. Vernon Kenneth Ken Epley. Darlene Flynn Morgan, 61, of Hendersonville, passed away Monday, September the 3rd at Hospice of the Carolina Foothills. A celebration of life will be held Sunday, September the 16th at Ebenezer Baptist Church in Hendersonville, North Carolina, from 2 until 4.
Intensify from Category 1 to Behemoth Category 4 faster than ever. And as the climate continues to warm, we'll have more behemoth hurricanes than ever. So, the bad news doesn't end there. The faster, bigger, and badder hurricanes are going to be so bad, scientists need a new category of badness. So right now, Category 5 hurricanes are the worst, but we could soon see Category 6. The new research based on computer models, not from old computers. No, these new horrible storm models were created on supercomputers. So you should be super scared enough to vote for Democrats who will get us back into the Paris Climate Accords so we won't ever have to face a Category 6. Hurricanes are decreasing in intensity. Folks, don't doubt me. Proof on radio later.
Hey guys, pardon the advertising interruption to your radio program. Do yourself a favor and please listen carefully. If you have tried or wanted to try Viagra or other male prescriptions in the last few years, you need to hear about Noxitril, the super pill that will transform your performance in the bedroom forever. You see, Noxitril has been formulated and developed in U.S. FDA labs, and it's the real deal. Noxitril works, period. Strong, explosive results that increase blood flow fast. And best of all, there are no side effects like prescription meds. After years of research, the developers of Noxitril got it right. This remarkable pill is off the charts. Right now, we encourage you to take advantage of our incredible free bottle offer. So what are you waiting for? Noxitril. It's that good.
Call now and find out how to get a free bottle of Noxitril while supplies last. Call 1-800-605-1673. That's 800-605-1673. Free bottles for a limited time, so call now. 800-605-1673. That's 800-605-1673.
Over a half-century of family-friendly broadcasting. This is WCAB AM 590 and the new 100.9 FM.
Stay informed with the best in election coverage all year. North Carolina Network News, ABC Radio News, and local coverage. Here are the most information for the foothills. WCAB, Rutherfordton.
It can be a tough call when it comes time to provide daycare services for an aging parent or loved one. Rutherford Life Care can be just what you're looking for. Rutherford Life Care offers adults a safe and fun place during the day for medical monitoring, nutritional meals, and daily activities. Rutherford Life is licensed by the State of North Carolina Division of Aging. Call them today and let them answer questions you may have. That's 288-1697, 288-1697. Rutherford Life offers a staff of professionals who show the love and compassion that you entrust your loved ones to. That's Rutherford Life Care Services, located on Thunder Road, Spindale. Again, that phone number is 288-1697.
Get ready for those hot summer months driving with a stop at RS Speedy Lube, Railroad Avenue. The Express Inspection Station gets you back on the road and keeps you legal. Speedy Lube has 2 lanes to serve you, gets you in and out in no time, and vacuum your car while the oil is being changed, air conditioner checked, transmission flushed, wiper blades replaced if needed, even a top-of-the-line car wash, all at RS Speedy Lube and Inspection Station, Railroad Avenue in Ruth. Take care of that car and have a safe trip.
John White was a mild-mannered man who shunned notoriety and never went out of his way to prove what he had done. And what he had done was to raft the Colorado River through the rapids of the Grand Canyon. According to White, he and 2 buddies had been prospecting on the Juan River when they were attacked by Indians. One of the men was killed and their animals and provisions stolen. White and the other prospector made it to the Colorado River and built a raft. After 3 days afloat, White's buddy drowned. White then lashed himself to the raft. White had started out with a sack of food and a pistol. The food was lost in the rapids, and he traded his pistol to some Indians for some food. 16 days later, on September 8, 1867, local residents found White lashed to a raft on the lower Colorado. He was naked. His flesh was raw and blistered. His entire body was bruised and bleeding. Delirious and half-crazed, he told them his story. White became controversial as future exploration of the river found much of his description of the geography of the area faulty. After the hardships that John Wesley Powell endured during his descent 2 years later, people were even more skeptical. But White never took part in the debate about his truthfulness, nor did he capitalize on his fame. Proving his truthfulness was for others. He knew what he had accomplished, and he spent the rest of his life as a blacksmith in Colorado, not really understanding the remarkability of his accomplishment. You've just heard another story from Chronicle of the Old West. I'm Dakota Livesay.
On this Friday morning, let's get started with our Colorado report, find out what's going on around the county, and we stop first at the Sheriff's Department, and Deputy Walker is on the phone right now to give us an update. Good morning. How you doing?
I'm good, and you?
Doing good, thank you. Tell us what's on the report over there.
For the last 24 hours, the Sheriff's Office had responded to 148 calls for service. The jail has processed 9 arrests, and there's currently 208 inmates housed in our detention facility. On our arrest reports, we have Christina Green of Ellenborough. She was arrested for felony probation violation and failure to appear on a misdemeanor. She received a $45,000 secured bond. We have Jacqueline Granger of Forest City, arrested for failure to comply on a child support warrant, $500 cash bond. Kristen Deaton of Mooresboro was arrested for a fugitive warrant. She received a $20,000 secured bond. Nathan Randall of Forest City was arrested for failure to appear on a misdemeanor. 2 counts of failure to appear on a misdemeanor. He received a $3,000 secured bond. And Aaron Yelton was arrested for failure to appear on a misdemeanor. Received a $10,000 secured bond. And on our incident reports, we have a Charles Truitt reporting an assault, inflicting serious injury, and we have Leo Smith of Rutherford reporting felony B&E, larceny after B&E, and damage to personal property. Among things stolen were 3 car batteries, steel chainsaw, steel leaf blower, McCullough chainsaw, and 3 DeWalt drill and charger tools. And that's all I have for you.
Deputy Walker, thank you so very much for that report, and you be safe this weekend.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye. 911 Communications Center report is next. Let me give you the update from last night, Thursday night, high school football. They moved the game from tonight to last night due to the threatening weather that's coming. South Caldwell over RS Central, 50-32. East beat Morganton Patton 34-7, and Thomas Jefferson beat Calhoun Falls 49-18. So far, East has won all their games. Thomas Jefferson has won all their games. Now, Chase had a bye last night. They did not play. They'll be back in action next week. But we'll get to our phone call from the Communications Center next. The entire team at Crow's Funeral Home and Cremation Services can help you with options available. They will help you find a balance between the emotional, spiritual, and financial needs of your loved one. During this time, it's important to turn to someone you can trust and depend on. Crow's Mortuary and Crow's Mortuary and Crematory has a long history of trust and dependability. Crow's Mortuary and Crematory. That's 286-2304. Now, Candy is on the phone from the Communications Center, and she has an update for us. Candy, good morning.
Good morning.
What's on that report?
In the past 24 hours, the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office 911 Communications Center has processed 462 911 calls and administrative calls, which consisted of 53 for EMS, 23 for rescue. For law enforcement, the Sheriff's Office had 148, Forest City had 89, Rutherford had 32, Lake Lure had 11, and Stendal had 36. On fire calls, Forest City responded to a motor vehicle accident, Green Hill to a motor vehicle accident, and Sandy Moster structure fire system at Ellenborough and Cliffside, and that's all we had.
Candy, thank you very much. You have a good weekend.
You too.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
More than 1 million Americans have heart attacks each year, and if you or a loved one experiences symptoms of a heart attack, every second matters. That's why the emergency department at Rutherford Regional Health System is a chest pain accredited facility. What does that mean to you? It means quality care here at home that could save precious seconds when treating the symptoms of heart attacks. To learn more about Rutherford Regional and its commitment to save quality care, visit myrutherfordregional.com.
Well, we're going to have a Braves game this evening against Washington, 6:20 airtime. We'll join that following News 13 to 6. And they're playing in Georgia, so I don't know how the weather is going to affect that. But right now it's still on, and we'll keep you posted on that game for this evening. 20 minutes after 7 o'clock, Ruby Taylor is next on the line. She's over in the Danieltown SDO district. Good morning.
Good morning.
What's on your report, Ruby?
Well, the fire department didn't have any calls, and on my birthday calendar, I've got Maggie Lale having birthday today, and I hope she has a nice day. Then tomorrow, Mark Elliott, Carol Lattimore, and Jake Cochran is having birthdays tomorrow, and hope they have a nice day. And Mandy Cordell is having a birthday Sunday, and hope she has a nice day. And the signs are in the thighs today, tomorrow, and Sunday off. So, Jim, that's all I got.
Enjoy your day, Ruby. Thank you.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
The Recliner Center is happy to introduce new styles of Spring Air mattresses. Some come with the cool gel that you're going to love. Remember the days when you could flip your mattress? Well, Spring Air is now offering the flippable mattress. Check out these for a really great night's sleep. The Recliner Center is needing to make room for some new styles of lift chairs, recliners, and sofas, and you're going to get some special deals on the floor models and extra inventory in the store. Now, you always know you get the best deals in town at the Recliner Center, and now's the best time to go shopping. Check on the inventory of new recliners, sofas, and lift chairs coming in. Now, some of the styles have a new water-repellent fabric. Water beads up instead of soaking into the fabric. Leave it to the Recliner Center to offer you the best choices and best prices. Ask to see the new wall hugger style of furniture. Hours are Wednesday through Friday 9 to 5 and Saturday 9 to 2. The Recliner Center on Cooper's Gap Road in Rutherfordton.
We're checking in now up at Rumley Ball, and we have Homer on the phone with us right now. Good morning, Homer.
Good morning.
Aren't you glad you aren't working in Morehead City or Wilmington this morning?
Yeah, I watched that on the news this morning, and it's kind of interesting how they brave that weather, and they were blowing around everywhere. They're getting hit pretty good down there on the coast.
Yeah, and it hasn't even hit land yet.
Yeah, it's about 10 miles from land. Hopefully, I know we're going to get some light rain and wind, but hopefully it won't be too significant.
Well, I hope it doesn't cause any flooding up your way.
Exactly. I hope not either. But, yeah, they're getting really hit hard down there. Weather up here is kind of mild, 74 midnight, 69 currently. We actually have clear skies. Got a wedding this weekend, few golfers. Do have one announcement. The White House Community Center is having a spaghetti dinner fundraiser tomorrow from 5 till 8. At the White House Community Center on Painters Gap Road. That's from 5 to 8 tomorrow. Other than that, not much more going on here. Got quite a few people staying here at Roaming Ball due to the storm. A lot of people come up here to get out of harm's way, so we're pretty booked up here because of that, and then the Equestrian Center games going on. So it's pretty busy here at Roaming Ball.
It's good to have the full house, isn't it?
That's true. That's good.
That's good job security.
Oh, yeah, we like it.
Hope you have a great day and enjoy your weekend.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
All right, bye-bye. 23 minutes after 7 o'clock, right here on the Morning Report on 100.9 FM, 590 AM, reaching the foothills of the Carolinas.
Saving a lot on your groceries is easy at Save-A-Lot. They have hundreds of super low prices on many of your favorite name brand items. They have a great selection of fresh meats and produce, frozen foods, snack foods, your favorite beverages, and delicious pastries. Hours are Monday through Saturday, 8 to 9, Sundays 10 to 8. Saving a lot is easy at Save-A-Lot in the White Oak Plaza in Spindale.
And Save-A-Lot's got a lot of specials going on today. One-day special. They'll have a one-day overstock sale today on the following items. California plums, $2 a box. California nectarines, $2 a box. And this is a limited supply. So hurry on over there and take advantage of these. This will be available after the truck delivers this morning. Call 288-5660 to find out time of availability, what time the truck's coming in, and about how much they've got. And go over there and get some of those plums and nectarines from California. And Bob Hodge is on the phone right now from the Hudlow Fire District. Bob, good morning to you.
Well, good Friday morning.
It is indeed another Friday, friend.
Another Friday, another week's gone by here.
Yeah.
Well, Jim, up here with the fire department, it's been pretty quiet overnight with extra one medical call. And Robbie and Chrissy Samuel's wedding anniversary today. Birthdays for Saturday is Francis Sheehan. And for Sunday, Melanie Samuels and Gail and Charlie Logan wedding anniversary. And Jim, all I want to tell you, do this day, try to stay dry over the weekend.
Yeah, need to stay dry and tie the old kangaroo down because it's going to be breezy and windy.
It's going to be breezy and look like the rain move in about Saturday night or Sunday there, and maybe it'll move out pretty quick. We won't have as much as they think we have there.
I hope so. You have any friends or relatives out around the Wilmington area, Bob?
I have a nephew at Myrtle Beach and down there, but I think he's gonna hunker it out down there.
Is he? Well,
but I think his wife and kid, they drove up to Atlanta yesterday to stay up there, but we talked last night, he's just going to stay at home and ride it out, so
well,
maybe he'll be all right there.
Well, I sure hope he is all right. There's some folks do that. They're staying hunkered in. My friend I talked to the other morning on the radio, he said he's not leaving. He lives over the Jacksonville area, so he said I'm staying.
He's going to stay too.
Yep. A little more bolder than I am, I believe.
Oh, he's better than me. I'd be getting out.
Yeah.
Yeah. But look, watching the news a while ago, some of them places getting hit pretty hard right now down there, and so maybe everybody will be all right there, but look like some of them getting hit pretty hard in places. So
yeah, we just have to offer up a prayer on their behalf and hope everything goes well.
I hope so too there, and I hope everything goes well up our way too there. So.
Yeah.
We'll know by Monday, I guess.
Well, you enjoy the weekend. Take care of yourself, and we'll see you next time.
You too, Jim. Stay dry.
Thanks, Bob. Appreciate it. That's Hudlow, volunteer fire checking in. And when you want your dreams to have a better-looking house with carpet and floor covering than the Dream Makers are at Southern Carpet. There you go. It's the top quality flooring and expert installation. If you got any question about carpet or floor covering, that's the team to talk to. The family business, pleased to have been growing for over 20 years, and they'd love to be able to help you and offer you the kind of help you need to make that floor and that room look a lot better. You know, it also sort of increases the value of the home when you got good-looking carpet or floor covering down. So talk with Gerald and Clayton, Tony, and Lynn over there at Southern Carpet about it. You can reach them over in Forest City, right there on West Main Street at 1512. And their telephone number is 245-0310. You can find them on the web at southerncarpet.net.
You don't want to need a plumber. You want someone with a reputation of getting right out to you and getting the job done for you the right way. That'll be Olmsted Plumbing. Since 1973, the Olmsted family has been serving homeowners and builders with the best of service. From unclogging a drain to replacing fixtures and appliances to remodeling jobs, their top quality work, fair prices, and punctual service has made them the area's leading plumbing firm. Eric and Chad are continuing that family tradition, and they'd like to serve you. Call 245-7302. Experience plus equipment equals excellence. Olmsted Plumbing at 245-7302.
It's time for you to test drive the affordable, fuel-efficient Ford Fusion from Sisk Family Ford in Forest City. Family-owned Sisk Ford can put you into the car you want with a payment plan you can appreciate. If it's a truck you want, get the Ford truck that's breaking records in sales. Ask about why the sales department is being bragged on with each and every sale that they make. They love your business at Sisk Family Ford, and it shows. New and used automobiles and an award-winning service department makes Sisk Family Ford the choice for so many. Step up to Ford today. Sisk Family Ford, Oak Street, Forest City.
Franklin Graham said due to the storm, millions, not millions, but many of the chaplains with the Billy Graham Rapid Response Team are already providing emotional and spiritual care to those affected by the storm. They are near shelters near the headquarters in Charlotte, where many evacuated families have already sought refuge. Hundreds more chaplains are ready to deploy to the coastal area and other communities most impacted by the storm in the coming days and weeks. So Franklin Graham, from his organization, asking you to pray for the safety of those in the path of the hurricane, as well as the first responders and others who will be in harm's way. So a lot of people involved in that we don't see on the television coverage. We see these newsmen out there holding on to railings to keep them being blown away, but we don't know about all this behind-the-scenes stuff that's going on, but there's a lot of that happening as well. Now let's check in over at Cherry Mountain Fire District. Sue Price is on the phone right now. Good morning, Sue.
Good morning, Jim.
What's on your report today?
Well, not a lot. I don't have any birthdays or anniversaries on either one of my calendars for today, so nobody's celebrating that I know of, but I hope anybody that's having a birthday or anniversary will have a real good day on their special day. And just keeping all those folks in prayer. I hope everybody's going to be safe. We never know. And those that stayed on, we'll just hope for the best for them. I believe if anybody told me to evacuate, I'd be packing up and going.
I don't believe I want to fight that storm either. I'd want to run from it, I believe.
Too scary. Well, let's see. In my announcements, the FFA will have a fundraiser Saturday the 22nd at the drop-in in Bostic. They're going to be having hot dogs and hamburgers, desserts and drinks, so come on out and support them if you can. And our community revival starts the 23rd, goes through the 27th, and that's at Sunshine School. The Sunday service starts at 6, and the rest of the week will start at 7. So we always look forward to that community revival. It's a good time for the churches to get together and enjoy some fellowship and good sermons and good music. So we invite anybody to come that's in the area. And so far, that's the only announcement I have, Jim. It's just a quiet and calm area right now, and we hope it stays that way, but we're looking for some wind and rain, but maybe it won't be too bad here.
Maybe it won't be too bad. I hope it's not. And you enjoy it. Be safe over there.
All right. You have a good one.
Thanks, Sue. Bye.
Bye-bye.
32 minutes after 7 o'clock on this fantastic Friday morning in the foothills, anticipating wind and rain. We are under that flash flood advisory, or flash flood watch, actually. Comes up in this evening all the way through Monday evening, and it's in effect for portions of western North Carolina and upstate South Carolina, including Avery, Bunkin, Burke, Caldwell, McDowell, Greater Rutherford, Haywood, Henderson, Madison, McDowell Mountains, and all around. Just about anywhere you can think of, you can throw a dart, and all of the western North Carolina foothills will be affected by this possible flood watch. The flood watch is in effect until Tuesday morning, late Monday night, Tuesday morning. Now we'll go to our next phone call up to Union Mills right after this.
Getting ready for deer season doesn't have to be burdensome with your friends standing by to help. Farmer's Friend, feed, seed, and supply in Rutherford. Deer corn, $7 for a 50-pound bag. Cob corn, $8. Peanut deer mix, $12.99 for the 50-pound bag. Sugar beet, $25 for 3 pounds. All your deer season preparation is now available at Farmer's Friend, feed, seed, and supply. Check out the best price for Kills Weed Killer, $47.99 for 2.5 gallons. Farmer's Friend, feed, seed, and supply, 188 Whiteside Road, Rutherfordton.
McCurry Deck Motors has been providing the stylish Buick for families for generations. Come browse a new selection and you'll find the car that everybody's talking about. The family-owned dealership is deeply entrenched in our community. They understand the needs of the customers and will work with them to find the perfect car, truck, or crossover for their lives. Experience the new Buick at McCurry Deck Motors. Take a look around the website to learn more about everything offered at McCurry Deck Motors, 1740 U.S. Highway 74A, Forest City. Here now is the Kelly Report from Upstate Union Mills with Ms. Brenda Kelly. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you on this fantastic, threatening Friday?
It is that. It sure is.
Yeah.
It's in anticipation of something exciting coming our way.
Well, I don't know if it's going to be exciting or not, but it'll be an adventure.
Yeah, really.
We just hope everybody will be safe and be careful.
Well, I just hope folks don't try to be too brave and just use common sense during these times.
That's it. I'm telling you. I'm like Bob Hodge. If I lived down there and they told me to get out, I'd done be gone.
I would say, which route you want me to take?
Yeah. Just head me west.
And a lot of folks have done that, but there's still always a few that want to hang around and think they can, and sometimes they get through it just fine, and they don't have that trouble having to go back home, but you never know. It just pays to be safe.
What amazes me is the men stay, but they send their wife and children off. Well, if it ain't safe for them, I know it ain't safe for the man.
Yeah, I guess he's
trying to be macho, ain't he?
I guess he is. I guess he doesn't want to mail the plywood up to the windows too many times.
I'm telling you, it's true. But I'm just thankful I live where I live.
I'm thankful I live where I live too. I watch some of the TV coverage of these newsmen. It's always kind of comical to watch them. They'll stagger around in the wind and they'll grab a hold of a pole and they almost fall.
One of the cameramen did fall yesterday on that weather channel. They showed it. It caught him off guard and down he went.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but then people like to know what's going on. So I'm just glad we've got people that's willing to do that.
It's hard to stand up. It's hard to stand up with 95-mile-per-hour wind.
I guarantee you, it would. Even as heavy as I am, I don't believe I could stand up in it. So, but we hope everybody's having a good day today. I've got 70 degrees on the front porch. I don't have any birthdays on either one of my calendars, so ain't nobody having nothing going on up here. But in ways of announcements, Gilkey United Methodist Church is going to have their fall bazaar. This will be September the 22nd from 7 a.m. to noon. They're going to have baked goods, canned goods, yard art, all kind of pretty wreaths. They're going to serve breakfast biscuits and breakfast casseroles, I think. And then we got a spaghetti dinner fundraiser Saturday, September the 15th, 5 to 8 p.m., and this is at the White House Community Center on Painters Gap Road in Union Mills. They're going to have live music. Adults is $8, kids 5 to 10 is $4, under 5 eat free. They're going to have spaghetti, salad, garlic breadsticks, ice cream, assorted homemade desserts, tea, and coffee. And other than that, I don't have anything else going on that I know of. So.
All right, you're just going to sort of sit down this weekend and watch the wind blow?
Well, watch the wind blow and the rain and pray that the power don't go off, because if the power goes off, I won't have no phone service, and pray that it don't rain too much so my driveway don't wash away.
Oh, yeah, you got a lot of...
I've got a lot of praying to do.
Well, just get on your knees.
I can't get on my knees, but I can stand up. I'm old and my knees is wore out, but I can stand up and bow my head.
That works just as well.
There you go.
Brother, you have a great day and a good weekend. I'll see you next time.
Okay, be careful. Catch you later.
38 minutes after 7 o'clock here on WCAB's Morning Wake Up Call, number one most listened to morning show in the foothills. We thank you for making it that way, and thank you for being a loyal supporter of our sponsors who sponsor the Morning Report. If someone has been with us a while, we appreciate them so very much. And when you go by to see them, you tell them how much you appreciate them being on the radio with us right here on 100.9 FM and 590 AM.
Gregory's Original Restaurant in the Park Lane Plaza is the perfect dining choice of Rutherford County. Greg offers all your favorite dishes. Try their delicious subs, grinders, pasta, chicken, burgers, fresh garden salads, and the most delicious steaks served with mushroom gravy or peppers and onions. Be sure to call on Gregory's for all your catering needs at 287-2171. Check out the website for menus and event information, www.gregorysoriginal.com. Gregory's in a Park Lane Plaza in Rutherfordton.
Some of you will remember back those days when we could leave our doors open, unlocked, and leave our windows open without any problem. or even send the kids out down the street without any worries at all. Those days, unfortunately, are gone, but there are ways we can protect ourselves, and Henson Building Material has a way that's very effective that I want you to get familiar with. It's called the Ring Home Security System, Ring Home Security Products, and they're stocking those at Henson's. The video doorbell, too, the spotlight cameras, and floodlight cameras. They also have solar-powered Ring security signs valued at $45, and they'll give to the first 3 purchases of a security device that mentions they heard it here, they'll give that to you free. That Ring Home Security Products available at Henson Building Material on Duke Street, Forest City. More than just a lumberyard, they continue to grow and expand and find ways to help your family and my family meet the modern-day stresses. So if you need a product, if you need something to work on your kitchen cabinet, or you need some new cabinets, go see Henson Building Material. They've got the product, and they know how to take care of it. You don't have to look them up and find somebody to answer your question. They're right there, willing and able to help you. Run by local folks. They've been with them a long time. So, I don't know why I keep Honeycutt. I see Darren's name here. Darren Honeycutt, who's the manager over there. I see his name, and I keep wanting to call him Honeycutt, but it's Henson. But Darren Honeycutt is the manager, and he's got a great team of folks over there, and we want you to go by and see him and ask about this home security system. Easy to install and very, very effective. All right, we got Luther Gilligan on the phone. Let's check in with him now with Ellenboro. Luther, good morning.
Good morning to you, too. We're having a nice morning there. Sitting here watching the sun come up, waiting on a rainy weekend.
Well, I hope it doesn't get too bad for you.
Well, it won't get too bad for me. It rains, I'll stay inside. You don't think I'm going to flood out? I'm at the top of the hill. I just watch it all in it. Wind doesn't get... I don't believe we're going to have too much. Probably get some rain out of it. I don't think we'll get a whole lot of wind. But that's just what I think.
Yeah.
Well, don't mean a whole lot to anybody.
We'll see how right you are.
Well, my top ideas on my... They don't even mean anything left. She doesn't pay my phone to mine either. But it's a quiet morning down here. Nothing going on. Part of a bit quiet. They had one call yesterday. Had a possible trip too far down this side, but it turned out to be a controlled burn. Just nothing going on. And nothing going on. His mom, we got a birthday. Well, pretty quick now. He's having a birthday today, so hope he has a great day and enjoys his day. And that's what's going on with him. You have a great day up there. We'll talk to you next week.
Be safe over there, Luther. I'll see you next time.
All right, take care.
Bye.
All right.
Ellenboro reporter in this morning, nice and quiet over there. Now it's time for birthdays and anniversaries for this 14th day of September. Call yours into us now. Let us celebrate with you. 287-3356. Todd standing by to take your call. And all those that are called in, we put them together, have a drawing, and give away some Daylight Donuts from Granny B's. And that's happening coming up here in just a few.
Farm Bureau Insurance doesn't hire celebrities to push auto coverage. We think people might like to make decisions based on service and savings, not just because that guy from that show says it's a good idea. Instead of faces you know from your TV, we offer faces you know from your neighborhood, because we're headquartered in North Carolina with local agents right in your town. That's really the only thing we want to be famous for. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
In Rutherford County, please call 287-2428.
North Carolina Farm Bureau Mutual Insurance Company, Farm Bureau Insurance of North Carolina, Inc., Southern Farm Bureau Life Insurance Company, Jackson, Mississippi, an independent licensee of the Blue Cross and Blue Shield Association.
Hey, do yourself a favor and do your family a favor, and particularly with the holidays coming up real soon. If there's a hearing problem going on, you want to be a part of the conversation during the holidays. So go ahead and make plans now to have that free hearing test that Lisa Terry has available for you at Miracle Ear Forest City. That free hearing test doesn't obligate you to anything. Doesn't take very long at all. There's no cost to it whatsoever. Just sort of test your ear, see how well you're hearing in those ears. And if you feel like you need to move forward with a hearing instrument, Lisa can help you with that as well. There's so many features you'll appreciate about Miracle Ear. Time to learn more about it. A-Plus Radio, the Better Business Bureau, and they're located in Forest City, 1512 West Main Street, Suite 102. Do yourself a favor and do the family a favor by improving the hearing and be a part of the conversation in the family.
43 years experience behind the name, voted best of best 8 years. That's why folks depend on Hutchins Pest Control. You can call on Tim and his team for moisture control, waterproofing, mold remediation, air quality control, dehumidification, and of course, pest control, rats, fire ants, termites, wildlife removal, and so much more. Call them today for your free estimate. 287-5171. Get the job done by the professionals and relax. Hutchins Pest Control, honest, dependable, and on-time service.
That's really something to crow about. It's the Daylight Donuts from Granny B's in Spindale. Get yours today while they're fresh. They're good. They're delicious. It's Daylight Donuts. It's something to crow about. Happy birthday. Well, happy birthday to Sarah Smith over in Forest City. She's having a birthday today. Francis Sheehan of Spindale is 74 today. Jesse Allen, 28, lives in Rutherford and works at Ultimate Textiles. Butch and Sandra Crawley over in Forest City is having an anniversary celebration today. And Molly Carver over in Forest City also is celebrating today on this 14th day of September. And just a moment now, we're going to have a drawing to find out who gets to enjoy the donuts from Granny B's. You all can enjoy them anytime. Go in and have one or two or three or take a dozen on. But somebody's going to win some free ones in just a few moments from Granny B's Bakery in Spindale.
On a personal trip to a third world country, I was riding in a car with a national driver. In one of the lanes of traffic was a truck on its side and burning. There was no one around, and we could not see if anyone was trapped in the vehicle. My first inclination was to stop and see what assistance we could offer. However, the national from that country let it be known that we could not be the first ones to stop and offer help for fear of being mobbed by people thinking that we caused the accident. I had other nationals warn me about stopping, but this was the first time I saw the practice at work. I couldn't help but feel saddened by the incident. Was there anyone in the truck? Could we have made a difference? However, I was more troubled by the larger picture of seeming indifference to human need. Volunteerism and caring are so important to alleviating many of our social concerns. Yet here is a country that is afraid to take the first step to reach out to needy people. I was reminded of the Bible story of the Good Samaritan. There were two people who should have stopped to assist the beaten man, but didn't. A third person had every reason to pass on by, but chose to get heavily involved in helping. The last person was described by Jesus as the true friend. I am thankful that Good Samaritanism is still applauded and in many ways protected. Let's continue to encourage and promote ready response to times of need and crisis. This is Bill Hostler with today's Key to Confident Living.
And congratulations to Jesse Allen. He's 28 today, works at Ultimate Textiles, and he's just won the Daylight Donuts from Granny B's. Jesse Allen, thanks for stopping by and pick that certificate up. You'll have those donuts to enjoy for the weekend. Well, Florence has just hit landfall there in Wilmington. We'll have more on that coming up from our network here in about 5 minutes from right now. And it's made landfall already, and boy, the wind is really blowing and rain's coming down. And we are under that, we'll be under that flood watch in effect starting on early Saturday morning from tomorrow morning. Let's see, issued today through the 18th, which is Tuesday. So we're actually under that flash flood watch now. So we'll keep posted on that, and we have our networks, two networks, North Carolina News, which is covering the coastline, as well as ABC News, and we'll give you an update. But Florence has now made landfall in Wilmington. 8:30 this morning, Word of Faith speaks out here live in the studio, and we hope you have been enjoying our new music we've been playing. A lot of folks been calling and saying, "Oh, I love that music, love that music." We've sort of been giving you a little taste of that for some while now, and hopefully between 9 and 11:30 this morning, we'll have a lot of the classic oldies music from the 60s, 70s, and some 80s. And then, of course, after Rush, 3 o'clock, Tom comes in and plays another good load of it. And we hope you're enjoying. We'd love to hear from you. If you have a special request you'd like for us to play, just get that to us, and we'll try to get that in the format as well. But we're classic oldies on 100.9 FM and 590 AM.
You saw me standing alone, without a dream in my heart, without a love of my own. Blue moon, you knew just what I was there for. You heard me saying a prayer for someone I really would care for. And then there suddenly appeared before me, the only one my arms would ever hold. I heard somebody whisper, please adore me. And when I looked, the moon had started to go. Now I'm no longer alone, without a dream in my heart, without a love of my own. Blue moon.
Oh, yes, I'm the great pretender. Pretending that I'm doing well. My need is such, I pretend too much. I'm lonely, but no one can tell. Whoa, yes, I'm the great pretender. Adrift in a world of my own. I play the game, but to my real shame, you've left me to dream all alone. Too real is this feeling of make-believe. Too real when I feel what my heart can't conceal. Yes, I'm the great pretender. Just laughing and gay like a clown. I seem to be what I'm not. You see, I'm wearing my heart like a crown. just
NCN News. I'm Mike Rayleigh. Hurricane Florence takes aim at the coast of North Carolina, packing 90-mile-per-hour winds and dumping heavy rain on the area. It has now officially made landfall at Wrightsville Beach. Correspondent Jim Crisula is in Wilmington, where the eye of the storm is hitting.
I'm Jim Crisula in Wilmington, North Carolina. Coastal residents are awakening to the full-blown effects of Hurricane Florence. Rain pounded down overnight, strong wind gusts rattled doors and windows, lightning flashed, and thunder rumbled and echoed.
Power outages are a problem down east, and North Carolina Emergency Response Team spokesperson Pam Walker says the problem is widespread.
The storm is moving very slow, and we're not only concerned about the coastal region, but we're considered about the middle part of the state and our mountains where there could be landslides and mudslides.
Duke Power spokesman Jeff Brooks says there are some early signs of power outages.
The things you would see down lines, down trees, and of course up in Carteret County, Craven County area, extensive flooding. And this was something that we did anticipate we would see.
David Daniels with the New Bern Police Department says if people did not evacuate, they should stay in their homes. If they need to be rescued, call 911.
If they're not able to get out of the house, we recommend that they move to the highest point. If they go up to the second floor, that's great. I would not recommend driving in the standing water.
There have been a bunch of people rescued in New Bern. CBS News correspondent David Bigno is up at Beaufort.
So far, the storm surge has been up to 7 feet within the last 12 to 14 hours. Where we are right now, winds have been gusting upwards of 90 miles per hour.
Mariana Dunn tells WWAY in Wilmington they were lucky to get one of 4 rooms at Best Western in Leland.
So it is on stilts. It's 19 feet high up.
She's talking about her home. You're listening to NCN News.
At AT&T, we believe that access to affordable home internet brings you incredible opportunities. You can enjoy the power to explore a digital world of possibilities and connect with family, friends, and the things that matter most. That's why there's access from AT&T. If a member of your household is a SNAP participant, you may qualify for home internet at a discounted rate of $10 a month. No commitment, no deposit, no installation fee. Plus, get an in-home Wi-Fi gateway at no extra cost. Call 1-855-220-5211 or visit att.com/aware to learn more.
SNAP refers to the Federal Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. Pricing excludes tax. Service will include a monthly data allowance depending on the type and speed of service you receive. If you exceed your monthly data plan allowance, you will be automatically charged $10 for each 50 gigabytes of data usage in excess of your data plan, even if less than 50 gigabytes is used. For details about data allowances, go to att.com/internet-usage. Wi-Fi enabled device required. Other restrictions apply.
As Hurricane Florence has now made landfall, CBS News evening news anchor Jeff Glore is in Wilmington.
It's gotten very bad here in just the past few hours. The rain is at the point where it is coming in sideways. It stings. You certainly have to watch out for projectiles if you're nearby.
Kinston Mayor John Hines tells WNCT News their emergency management has responded to the storm.
Everything is going through the main EOC, which is Lenoir County Emergency Management, which is at the 911 Center, and those folks are really doing a great job.
Mary Porter with the American Red Cross in Raleigh says there are lots of people making sure shelters are run properly.
I've got people, 95% of them, who are volunteers who have taken the time to get people in places, get materials in places, and try to work and staff and greet thousands of people across Red Cross-operated shelters, Red Cross partner shelters by government.
Almost 20 years ago, Floyd's flooding rains caused major spills at hog waste sites in eastern North Carolina. State Ag Commissioner Steve Troxler says they're working to make sure history does not repeat itself.
We have been able to draw down lagoon levels to the point that we believe that we can handle the rain that would fall out of a hurricane like this. But we don't know what river flooding will mean, and that will be another key that we have to deal with as time goes on.
Airports are being impacted by Florence. Wilmington International has no flights scheduled today. And at Raleigh-Durham International Airport, spokesman Andrew Sawyer is preaching patience.
Check with your airline before coming to the airport. We have some carriers that are not operating today, some that are operating limited schedules, and some that are trying to get as many flights out as they can.
Mike Rayleigh, NCN News.
Today's hits and yesterday's memories, WCAB Rutherfordton.
from ABC News. I'm Jim Ryan in Wilmington, North Carolina, where Florence, the storm that held Category 4 status just a few days ago, has made landfall as a Category 1 hurricane. That still means that the wind is blasting through this city at about 90 miles per hour. ABC World News anchor David Muir is with me here in Wilmington.
What they're most concerned about is the rain. It's expected up to 40 inches of rain, and this is going to last all the way through today and into tomorrow. They know that storm surge is a real issue as that emergency situation plays out in New Bern, where there are multiple families, a number of them still in their homes, some of them on the second floors. There is one report this morning. We talked to an emergency official in New Bern who told us that there are some people on top of their roofs.
Flooding has been the issue in parts of the hurricane zone, but the wind is the problem here. I've watched as the tar paper roof has been ripped off a building here in the historic downtown area, windows broken in the upper floors. I'm Jim Ryan, ABC News in Wilmington, North Carolina. Now with more news, here's Sherry Preston.
Former Trump campaign chair Paul Manafort may have cut a plea deal with special counsel Robert Mueller's office. That is what sources now tell ABC News. Manafort is facing a trial in a few days on obstruction charges. Homes across 3 towns north of Boston are being checked after a string of explosions blamed on natural gas.
In my 91 years, I've never had anything like this before.
That woman lives nearby. Massachusetts Governor Charlie Baker says about 8,000 buildings had to be evacuated.
We currently have now techs and first responders dispatched to all 3 communities.
One person was killed, dozens more are hurt. Police in California searching for a motive after that man killed an ex-wife and 4 other people before turning the gun on himself in a shooting spree in Bakersfield. Defense lawyers for the Chicago cop charged in the shooting death of Laquan McDonald are facing decision today. They're expected to tell a judge whether they want a jury trial or a bench trial. You're listening to ABC News.
A good night's sleep starts with the right pillow. That's where MyPillow comes in, and we're excited to announce the new 4-pack special. Go to MyPillow.com, click on the 4-pack special tab, and save 50% off the 4-pack, which includes 2 MyPillow premiums and 2 Go Anywhere pillows. Use promo code SKY at checkout or call 1-800-635-1825. That's 1-800-635-1825. Or go to MyPillow.com, click the 4-pack special tab, and use promo code SKY at checkout.
It's time to join the millions of people using Zoom video conferencing. Turn any size conference room, huddle room, or executive office into a Zoom room with flawless HD video, crystal clear audio, and instant wireless sharing. It'll even work with your existing hardware. Start your meetings with a single touch or use Zoom's new voice command feature. Hey Zoom, start meeting. Huddle happy. Visit Zoom.us to set up your free Zoom room trial today. That's Zoom.us. Zoom video conferencing.
Hawaii dealing with its own storm after Tropical Storm Olivia dumped over a foot of rain on the islands. Officials are now warning thousands of people in Honolulu might have to evacuate. And a monster storm is headed right for the Philippines, the biggest typhoon of the year.
Winds are kicking up ahead of Saturday's landfall, and the evacuation of thousands from the path is underway. Schools are closed, bulldozers are ready, rescuers and troops are on full alert. More than 4 million people live in the area deemed to be at most risk from the storm. The super typhoon is packing winds and gusts equivalent to a Category 5 Atlantic hurricane. Tom Rivers, ABC News at the Foreign Desk.
When the White House hosts a reception for Hispanic Heritage Month, the head of the Congressional Hispanic Caucus won't be there. Here's ABC's Andy Field.
New Mexico Democratic Congressman Michelle Lujan Grisham writing to the president that she's declining his White House Hispanic Heritage invitation because she opposes Mr. Trump's policies, actions, and words on Hispanic issues. The congresswoman saying the president's tweets claiming Democrats made up Puerto Rican death numbers betray the value of American Hispanic culture.
New York's primary is in the books, and a big race for Governor Andrew Cuomo, the incumbent, beat primary challenge from actress Cynthia Nixon. This is ABC News.
Do you owe the IRS more than $10,000? Do you have tax problems? Pick up your mobile phone and dial **1234 on your keypad. This is attorney John Buckmiller, founder of Attorneys Tax Relief. We have experts that know how to help you out of the mess with the IRS. We can help stop wage garnishment, levies, and harassment. Get out of debt and settle with the IRS. Remember, it's as easy as *1234. Don't wait any longer. Dial *1234. That's *1234 on your mobile phone now.
I'm Sherry Preston, ABC News.
Hey, what in the world are you eating?
A donut.
A donut? What's in it?
Ice cream.
Ice cream in a donut? What's it called?
What's it called? An ice cream stuffed donut. Duh.
Well, where'd you get it?
Jesse James Railroad Express.
Jesse James Railroad Express. Now, where in the world is that?
That's at 531 Railroad Avenue in Rutherfordton.
Let's go get one, folks.
Blustery and humid today, well on the west side of Florence. We'll have mostly cloudy skies, a few bands of scattered showers and storms, mainly over the Piedmont. We'll have highs around 80 to 85. Then tonight, some areas of rain, especially over the Piedmont counties, with lows upper 60s to low 70s. And we'll have plenty of clouds Saturday as Florence goes closer. It'll be windy at times, a better shot at rain and rain showers. Some could be heavy towards southern parts of the state, high 72 to 77. I'm Mike Moss in the Weather Center.
Thanks very much, Mike. Good morning again, everyone. It is cloudy outside. Some clearness up there, but some clouds too. We're 72, expecting this afternoon only a slight chance of rain, but some wind gusting to about 22 miles per hour today. Now, the rain will be picking up later tonight and tomorrow. Tomorrow we're expecting scattered showers and high winds gusting to about 23 miles per hour here around us. And with that rain and the wind, it's going to really blow on us. And tomorrow night, Saturday night, cloudy with showers. Lows around 69, wind gusting to 23 miles per hour. New precipitation amounts from 1 inch to 1.5 inch is possible on Saturday night. Then on Sunday we have a 80% chance of rain with wind gusting to 22 miles per hour on Sunday. And then on Monday, cloudy with heavy showers, highs around 81. Heat index around 86 and a chance of precip about 70% on Monday with thunderstorms likely Monday night. So hopefully it'll get it out of its system before Tuesday night because the fair opens over in Ellenboro on Tuesday night, Tuesday through Saturday the whole week, and they've had some rain outs over the years, but hopefully the rain will be behind us by the time the fair comes to town, and we'll keep you posted. There is a possibility of some light showers through next week, but not like the wind and the rain we're going to be getting the next few days. We are under that flash flood watch until Tuesday morning, September the 18th. So it's crazy weather-wise. We're keeping posted. The Florence has now met land there in Wilmington and out on the coast. So doing some damage. A roof blew off of some buildings there in Jacksonville. They evacuated a lot of folks in the area, and some folks still staying put. We'll see what happens from them. But our networks will be covering all of that for us. Any major thing happens between now and the next network, we'll certainly pass it on to you. We got some local updates as well. So stand by with us right here as we cover news from here and there here on WCAB's Morning Wake Up Call. My name's Bishop. Jim Bishop.
Get more for free at Carolina West Wireless. Stop by today for buy one get one free on some popular brand name smartphones. You can even get your first month of unlimited data free too. Our nationwide 4G LTE service will let you send, share, and search as much or as little as you choose. Carolina West Wireless. Go stay connected. Now open in Forest City. Certain restrictions apply. See store for details.
The spirit of Farm Bureau Insurance is in people like Agent Toby Maxwell. In Rutherford County, Toby is one of your best sources for auto, home, life, and health insurance. He knows the value of excellent coverage and backs it up with prompt professional service. Call Toby today for a free no-obligation review of your personal insurance needs. That's 287-6850. 287-6850. Farm Bureau Insurance, helping you is what we do best. Congratulations to Jesse Allen of Rutherford. Jesse turns 28 today. Also works at Ultimate Textiles and won the Daylight Donuts just a moment ago, given by our good friends over at Granny's Bays. All right, let's look at some stories from here and there. The Trinity embezzlement case has been continued in the courtroom. Case involving a former head of Trinity Christian School accused of embezzling more than $134,000 in school funds has been postponed until October 24th. During the brief court appearance, Attorney Daniel Talbert, who is representing Walker, asked Davis whether he had any conflicts in hearing the case, talking about Judge Tommy Davis, and Davis said he was not aware of any. But they have asked for a continuance and received it. The WEG Endurance event was canceled after a confusing start Wednesday morning. The Endurance Ride, the first event in the World Equestrian Games, was restarted and then ultimately canceled, according to spokesperson Gail Telford. The remainder of the endurance competition has been canceled, she said, due to a potentially dangerous high combination of heat and humidity and the conditions out on the trail following heavy rain this afternoon. But meanwhile, the U.S. has done well. The U.S. takes reigning team title. The United States took reigning team gold at the FEI World Equestrian Games. The American team, led by 18-year-old Cade McCutcheons, on his grandfather's horse, custom-made gun, claimed a comprehensive victory from Belgium in second and third place to Germany. It was Team USA's third successive WEG gold medal triumph as they claimed the Johnson Controls reigning crown on a team score of 681. A lot of folks in Rutherford County doing some good things to help Florence evacuees. Hurricane Florence evacuees have a state haven in Rutherford County. Camp McDaniel, a Christian camp located on Ferry Road in Mooresboro, is offering a safe space for evacuees. That's what the camp is here for. Dr. Don McIntyre, pastor at Hicks Grove Baptist, said Thursday nobody in the area has a facility like this, so we make it available. The hurricane, though it has been reduced in its category size, still has the potential to cause great damage to North Carolina, particularly in the coastal areas, so they're opening those doors. And out of the 10 cabins available at the camp, each of which can house 8 people, McIntyre said 7 were currently occupied, and evacuees were all on the way to fill the others. One of our own local business owners and former host of a radio show here has been is a judge in one of the contests over at the Equestrian Center. Tammy Martell, the owner of the Martell's Bed and Barn off of Big Island Road, is among the judges for the cross-country phase of the World Equestrian Games eventing discipline. Martell is happy to be judging the cross-country event, one of a 3-phase competition in eventing. The other phases of the 3-day event are dressage and show jumping. Martell said, "I'm honored and excited to be a cross-country judge for such a prestigious event as WEG." So she's doing that work for them. So that's good for her. That's right down her line as someone who understands all of that. Well, as millions of people throughout North and South Carolina brace for a full impact of Hurricane Florence, chaplains from the Billy Graham Rapid Response Team are ready to provide emotional and spiritual care to those affected. Chaplains are already ministering in shelters near the headquarters in Charlotte, where many evacuated families have already sought refuge. Hundreds more chaplains are ready to deploy to coastal regions and other communities most impacted by the storm in the coming days and weeks. So they're asking your support in that respect. You know, what we haven't thought about and realized is those folks are coming up this far for shelter after leaving their homes. There are very few rooms because the equestrian folks occupied all the rooms here, plus rooms in Cleveland, plus rooms in Charlotte, rooms in Asheville. There are a lot of availabilities for folks coming. That's why the shelter that I just talked about is such a good idea. And the shelters there in Charlotte, some of those shelters are working its way to be very effective. But there's not many hotel rooms because they have been already prearranged for those folks coming in here from around the world. So it's one of those difficult, tight things. Well, Hurricane Florence has made waves in more ways than one in the Grand Strand at Myrtle Beach, and the rest of Horry County braced for Florence. As of 5 p.m. last night, the crew on the beach was experiencing upwards of 30 miles per hour winds, but it got bigger and larger and stronger. An estimated 1,000 people in Horry County shelters. Still, many will ride out the storm while hunkered down in their homes in that area. That's part of the mandatory evacuation. Joe McVeigh, a man locals refer to as Mr. Myrtle Beach, has lived there for more than 50 years. He said, "Well, it's certainly no Hugo, I can tell you that." Curfews will remain in effect through tonight for Myrtle Beach and unincorporated areas of Horry County. Local meteorologists say the worst of the storm surge will be when tide is the highest, and that'll be was last night and this morning at 11:59. The next high tide in Myrtle Beach will there, and then again on Saturday at 11 a.m. So it's going to be some coming and going. Sunshine every once in a while. A cool breeze touched the thousands of spectators at the World Equestrian Games in Mill Spring. It was an enjoyable day for many, although coordinators running the Olympic cycle event were well aware that it could quickly change. Sharon Decker, the chief operating officer of the Tryon Equestrian Center, said, "We are not in a mandatory evacuation area, but we are in an area that's likely to get a lot of rain. Hurricane Florence is projected to sweep through the Carolinas in a matter of days, bringing powerful winds and heavy rain along with it." Sharon Decker said, although no competitors have been canceled, no competitions have been canceled as of 4 p.m. on Thursday, but we did mention one while ago it's a definite possibility. Decker said people will be alerted through email if events are postponed and canceled. Tickets are non-refundable for people who are coming to watch. When it comes to safety of the horses, some worth millions of dollars and flown in from around the world, Decker explained the animals will not be evacuated. Instead, they'll be kept in the nearly 1,300 permanent stalls in the Tryon Equestrian Center has on their grounds. The barns are pretty solid here, and I know they use it for evacuees. I think it was for Hurricane Irma. Marie Ferguson, a rider competing from Canada, says she's a trusting event coordinator to let competitors know if they should be concerned. So they got their eye on everything over there. Meanwhile, the Atlanta Braves, in partnership with the American Red Cross, will be given complimentary weekend game tickets to all residents of North and South Carolina evacuees, as well as some coastal Georgia residents who are temporarily displaced due to the hurricane. According to the Braves website, tickets are only available at the SunTrust Park ticket office while supplies last, and each ticket will include free access to Hope and Will's Sandlot, as well as discounted A-list pricing for food and beverage at the park. The tickets are available for the Friday, Saturday, and Sunday games of the upcoming Homestead, September 14th, 15th, and 16th. According to the release, the Atlanta Braves Foundation 50-50 raffle during those games will benefit the American Red Cross in their efforts to provide aid for the Hurricane Florence victims. Braves fans unable to come to SunTrust Park are encouraged to donate to the American Red Cross at redcross.org or call 1-800-RED-CROSS or text Florence to 90999 to make a $10 donation. So it's a busy time. A lot of things happen. A lot of folks are stepping up to the plate, it sounds like, and assisting in many ways, which as it should be. And we hope everybody is going to be safe and no major problems any further than what's already existed. Florence has made landfall there in the coast. Wilmington, Morehead City, and places like that are really being devastated this morning. Roofs have blown off of buildings there in Jacksonville. 400,000 plus customers without power in North Carolina. So it's a difficult time out there. Just remember them, and as you say your prayers this morning, just remember the folks that are going through much tougher times than we are. It's 18 minutes after 8 o'clock. The Sheriff's Report with Deputy Walker is coming up in just a moment.
Have you heard the three big lies about Medicaid eligibility? First, if you live in a nursing home, Medicaid will take your house. That's not true. Second, if you transfer assets, you have to wait 60 months to qualify. That's not true. And third, if you're already in a nursing home, it's too late to protect your assets. That's not true. Please call attorneys Gerald N. Willis, Ken Povin, or Martin Gerard at the Arledge Law Firm for a free consultation and learn the truth about Medicaid and eligibility and nursing home care in North Carolina. It's more likely than you think that you may qualify and not lose everything you own. Call the Arledge Law Firm today at 287-3338, located on East Court Street in Rutherford. Again, that's 287-3338.
Do you need some extra money in your pocket? Try Insurance Service Associates, your local independent agent. We can shop your auto and home insurance with several companies to get you better coverage and the best rate. Insurance Service Associates at 127 East Trade Street in Forest City for auto, home, or commercial insurance. More choices, better coverage, best rate. That's Insurance Service Associates, 245-5301.
Did you know that Rutherford County's largest pediatrics practice has 5 providers to serve the children and youth of this area? And even better, Rutherford Children's Care is welcoming new patients. With 3 physicians and 2 mid-level providers, the group is available to examine, diagnose, and treat patients from birth to age 18. Rutherford Children's Care is conveniently located at 162 Commercial Drive in Forest City, just behind Big Dave's Restaurant. To schedule an appointment, call Rutherford Children's Care at 828-287-9325.
The flu season will soon be upon us, and Smith Drugs of Forest City is ready to provide these immunizations at the drugstore at your convenience. We will bill your insurance, and one of our pharmacists can administer the vaccine to you Monday through Friday between the hours of 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. and on Saturdays by appointment only. Remember that a flu immunization is the best way to prevent getting the flu, in addition to washing hands, covering your mouth when you cough or sneeze, and staying home when you are sick. Prepare yourself and protect those around you with a flu immunization this year. Come see us at Smith Drugs of Forest City, 139 East Main Street.
20 minutes after 8 o'clock, one of the bright spots of this weekend is the Monograms and Moore's having a big closing out sale. Now's your chance to save big money on gift buying if you'll shop at Monograms this weekend. Today and tomorrow, today 8 to 6, tomorrow 8 to 4, you can save 75% to 90% on everything in the store. Custom jewelry, baby clothing and accessories, totes, handbags, insulated coolers, hand-painted ornaments, wine bags, leg warmers, scarves, earrings, collegiate pottery, magnetic boards, and so much more. Great stocking stuffers and great teacher gifts and more. When it's gone, it's all gone, because they've closed the doors, as you know, and they wanted to clean out their stock. So this is a good way to do it, up to 90% off. Shop Monograms and More this week only. South Main Street there in Rutherfordton. All right, Deputy Walker was on with us earlier this morning, gave us a report from the Sheriff's Department. We recorded it for broadcast at this time. Deputy?
For the last 24 hours, the Sheriff's Office had responded to 148 calls for service. The jail has processed 9 arrests, and there's currently 208 inmates housed in our detention facility. On our arrest reports, we have Christina Green of Ellenborough. She was arrested for felony probation violation and failure to appear on a misdemeanor. She received a $45,000 secured bond. We have Jacqueline Granger of Forest City, arrested for failure to comply on a child support warrant, $500 cash bond. Kristen Deaton of Mooresboro was arrested for a fugitive warrant. She received a $20,000 secured bond. Nathan Randall of Forest City was arrested for failure to appear on a misdemeanor. 2 counts of failure to appear on a misdemeanor. He received a $3,000 secured bond. And Aaron Yelton was arrested for failure to appear on a misdemeanor. Received a $10,000 secured bond. And on our incident reports, we have a Charles Truitt reporting an assault, inflicting serious injury, and we have Leo Smith of Rutherfordton reporting felony B&E, larceny after B&E, and damage to personal property. Among things stolen were 3 car batteries, steel chainsaw, steel leaf blower, McCullough chainsaw, and 3 DeWalt drill and charger tools. And that's all I have for you.
Over a half-century of family-friendly broadcasting. This is WCAB AM 590 and the new 100.9 FM.
Stand by. Sports Update is next.
Sports, I'm Jeff Hamlin. This is the 5th year where the Charlotte 49ers have played in Conference USA, and yesterday was the first time ever that the 49ers won its Conference USA opener. Chris Reynolds threw for 202 yards and 2 touchdowns as Charlotte defeated Old Dominion 28-25 at Jerry Richardson Stadium in Charlotte in a game that was moved from Saturday to yesterday because of Hurricane Florence. Marquavis Gibbs and Juwan Foggy had interceptions on consecutive Old Dominion possessions in the fourth quarter. 49ers coach Brad Lambert says everything went according to plan.
I thought went pretty much the way I wanted it to go. You know, we made some good plays all the way across the board. I thought Chris played well. I thought our defense got off the field.
Charlotte is now 2-1. In Winston-Salem yesterday, Boston College defeated Wake Forest 41-34 at BB&T Field in Winston-Salem. It's the third straight time where the Eagles have defeated the Demon Deacons in Winston. Boston College quarterback Anthony Scott threw 5 touchdown passes, 2 of them to Anthony Brown for 27 and 71 yards. Wake freshman quarterback Sam Hartman went 20 of 45 for 214 yards. He threw 2 touchdowns. He also threw 2 interceptions. Wake coach Dave Clawson says the Deacons gave up way too many big plays.
That's the story of the game. We lost the turnover battle. We didn't score in the red zone, and they made a lot of explosive plays.
Wake hasn't defeated BC in Winston-Salem since 2012. In the NFL last night, A.J. Green grabbed touchdown passes on 3 consecutive series, and the Cincinnati Bengals improved to 2-0. They defeated the Baltimore Ravens 34-23. Andy Dalton threw 4 touchdown passes for the Bengals. You're listening to Sports from NCN.
Sometimes the simplest things can make the biggest difference. An extra pair of hands, a smile, or a shoulder. At North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance, we feel the same about home and auto coverage, affordable rates, trusted service, and local agents. After all, making one simple difference in your life helps you make a big difference in another's. Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
Have you ever noticed how little things can make a big difference? Think about how good you feel when someone looks you in the eye and smiles. It makes you want to do the same. A smile. A simple word of thanks for a good deed, no matter how small. Passing on the simple expression, "Have a great day." It takes so little time, but it works wonders. In North Carolina, we have always taken pride in being kind. Little things do make a difference. Makes you feel better. Makes everyone around you feel better.
The Durham Bulls are 1 win away from winning the Governor's Cup for the 6th time. The Bulls defeated the Scranton Wilkes-Barre Rail Riders last night 3-0 at PNC Field in Pennsylvania. The Bulls now lead the best-of-5 Governor's Cup finals 2-1. Brandon Snyder cracked a solo homer for the Bulls in the second inning. Chi-Wei Hu earned the win by tossing 7 shutout innings. In Major League Baseball from yesterday, the Chicago Cubs extended its lead in the National League Central to a 1.5 over the Milwaukee Brewers. Chicago edged Washington 4-3 in 10 innings. Also in Major League Baseball, Colorado remains a 1.5 ahead of the Dodgers in the National League West. Colorado defeats Arizona 10-3. The Dodgers keep pace by beating St. Louis 9-7. That's sports. I'm Jeff Hamlin on NCN.
Western and humid today, well on the west side of Florence. We'll have mostly cloudy skies, a few bands of scattered showers and storms, mainly over the Piedmont. We'll have highs around 80 to 85. Then tonight, some areas of rain, especially over the Piedmont counties, with lows upper 60s to low 70s. And we'll have plenty of clouds Saturday as Florence grows closer. It'll be windy at times, a better shot at rain and rain showers. Some could be heavy towards southern parts of the state, high 72 to 77. I'm Mike Moss in the Weather Center.
Currently 74 degrees, sunny skies. We are anticipating rain later today and tomorrow, some heavy winds. We are under that flash flood watch until Tuesday in the foothills, so we'll keep you posted until this is all over with. 29 minutes after 8 o'clock, this is WCAB Rutherfordton. Welcome to the Word of Faith Responds. This series of programs will address the issues concerning the negative news reports. This program is paid for by Word of Faith, and the views expressed on this program are not necessarily the views of the management and staff of WCAB. Now here is Word of Faith Responds.
Good
morning, and thank you again for joining us. This is Mark Morris with Word of Faith Fellowship, and today I have Christopher with us from our church at Word of Faith Fellowship, and he is all the way from Africa. Christopher grew up in Ghana, West Africa, and our church actually helped found a church and Christian school in Ghana, and Christopher is a part of that church. The pastor is John Sui. They have a Christian school there as well. They actually have students that live on the school part-time, and it's a sort of a boarding home. And so interestingly, Christopher actually grew up right down the street from where we started this Christian school and church, and he grew up in the culture in Ghana that was involved in spiritualism, and actually you'll hear about witchcraft, sorcery, and praying curses over people, and really grew up in a life not knowing Jesus. But somehow one day he decided to walk over and see what this Christian church and school was like, and he ended up loving it and staying. And you're going to hear the story of how God truly met Christopher and changed his life from a life of this culture of sorcery and all of these idol worshiping practices into somebody who loves Jesus. So it's an amazing story, and he ended up eventually coming to visit our church several times, and then met somebody in our church and married her. So our church actually does send missionaries to this church and Christian school in Africa. We have some there right now, and the church has been a real blessing in that community. They've seen a lot of improvements in that community. The Christian school does very well there, has very good scoring academically, and so it's been a real blessing in the community, and a lot of our church members go there and visit and help, and it's been a real blessing for our church to help with that. So with that said, Christopher, go ahead.
Thank you, Mark. Really appreciate that introduction. And there's one thing I really want to say, Rutherford County, that it doesn't really matter where you grew up. It doesn't matter what you're born into. It doesn't matter what you find yourself in. As long as you have a desire for God and you seek after Him, you will find Him. And that really was my story. Like Mark said, I grew up in Ghana, and Ghana is a predominantly traditional country. Traditional in the sense that the people believe they have their own way of living, they have their culture, and it's a culture of idolatry, the worship of objects and sorcery, and it's really a whole mixture of pure Satan worship and what they do with the dead, and then you have on the other side a small Christian minority that are actually now really growing, and then you also have the third group, which is Islam. And you have this mixture of people with different beliefs and different attitude to life and different perspective. And I really happen to straddle between two of these different beliefs. My mom actually grew up in a typical traditional, Ghanaian cultural setting. Her dad was actually kind of the caretaker of, the shrine that they have. Every community have their own gods. They don't believe really in God. And my dad was actually the caretaker of this, and his sister was the one who conjures up this spirit and consoles when people came to visit. And so mom grew up in this, and also this part of my granddad, they believe there is life after death. So when people die, they bury the dead with another human being. And my granddad was actually in charge of this kind of ritual. And so
they actually believe you bury dead with other dead, so they're going to be together.
Yeah, they believe there's life after death, and when you die out of the royal family, you have to be buried with servants. And so he took care of stuff like that, and he was majorly involved. And my dad tells us when he was dating my mom, sometimes he would visit her house and want to pray, because my dad was a pastor marrying this lady from this terrible traditional background. So he would go there and want to pray, and he was forbidden for mentioning the name of Jesus. He could not pray. He had to find a way to believe that he was praying for my mom, and whatever it was going to get better. But finally, anyway, they got married, and mom moves out of this house, and then they started a missionary work, started setting up churches, praying deliverance for people. So of course, now mom is now, a Christian and a pastor's wife. So she also preached and she also prayed for people, but she never really had deliverance because they never even believed in deliverance. And that's one reason I'm just so grateful personally for Sam and Jane Whaley of the vision God gave them that Christians can have devils and they can be delivered through the power of prayer, because they didn't even knew this. And as I begin to share, you will realize in different instances when mom got faced with any challenges in her life, she went back to her roots of the traditional worship and sorcery and black magic to find answers to the troubles that she has, because she never knew God for herself. So they were in this missionary work for quite a while, and at a point Dad decided that he wasn't really getting enough money, so he wants to go set up a business for himself, while he finally working for the government. And they were relocated to the industrial city of Ghana, which is called Tema, actually the stop where every production in a country takes place. And that had a very good position, and so they were given a staff bungalow, and so we all lived there, and that was where we were all born. And mom had several miscarriages. She tells you sometimes she had like twins and triplets, and they all died. And she finally had 9 children, and one died. I am the 7th of 8 surviving children. Those who were born right before me were 2 twin boys, and one died shockingly after birth, and the other just went into a state of I don't know if I should say unconsciousness, but he wouldn't do anything. He was not dead, he was alive, but he was kind of lifeless. He wouldn't do anything until I was born 2 or 3 years after. And mom says right after I was born, this surviving twin almost leaped up to life and started living normal and started talking and started living. So then the interpretation was I was a reincarnated twin brother who passed away. So mom actually kept us together. She dressed us like twins. She treated us like twins. We started school together, even though he was 3 years older. We were in school together. We did everything together, and people refer to us as the twins. And we grew up that way, believing that we were the twins.
This belief, you said your mom believed you were the twin that died, that was reincarnated. Did she get these beliefs from you mentioned that she would consult these tribal sorcery, witchcraft type people, and they would tell her things. Is this where she got that belief that you were the reincarnated?
That's exactly where she got it, because they believe in reincarnation and all of that, and the circumstances around and what was going on made them even believe it all the more. That is the one who passed on, and he's back to be with his brother. So anyway, with time there were several disagreements between mom and dad, and they finally divorced, and well, not legally divorced, but dad moves away and gets married again and starts a totally different life. He abandons the whole family, and so mom has to take care of 8 children by herself, 6 boys and 2 girls, and it was quite a challenge. So she moved over to be with her dad, who was still alive at this time, very old. And remember, he is a pure traditional man who believes in what he believes, in the dead and all of this. So we are back to the roots of traditional beliefs. And that's pretty much where I pretty much grew up, because at this point I was about 3-4 years old. And so mom had to take care of all these older boys and the older ones who were in high school getting ready for college. So the attention was really on them, and we the younger ones were kind of a secondary matter. And so whatever finance he had went towards their school and everything. And I remember older brothers and sisters who cultivate the land and farm, and the produce they sell went towards their school fees, because in Ghana you have to take care of your school fees and your school supplies. You took care of yourself. And so we didn't really have any attention. I remember even starting school, it was a principal of the school around there who came to my mom and said, I think your 2 children are ready for school, and I'm ready to get them enrolled in school. So he came and got us and put us in school, and we started school. And I remember with all the challenges mom was going through, we rarely went to school. I mean, sometimes for a whole school term, I went to school like 2 or 3 weeks out of about 60 days. I mean, I went 2-3 weeks, and if I did 3 weeks, that was great. But somehow God was really helping me with school, and I was doing better. But by 6th grade, because I had been out of school so badly, I could not read, Mark. I mean, I couldn't read anything, and it was such a burden on me because everyone else was reading and doing pretty good and excellent, like 6th graders should do, but I couldn't do anything. And I remember starting to pray and ask God to help me. I said, God, you got to help me. But then I started deciding to help myself with school. But this family, my granddad's side, they have a huge land with mango trees, and everybody was invited to go pick the mangoes when the season came. So when the season comes, I also try and go, and whatever money I make out of that, I save that for my school supplies, for my school fees, because mom's attention is on the older brothers to help them through. So that was how I paid my fees and got my school supplies for school. And I remember beginning to pray and ask Jesus, you got to help me. I see what my brothers do. I see what my sisters do to pay their way to school. They farm. They make charcoal for money. And I said, Jesus, I'm not that strong to do the kind of work they do, but I can learn. I mean, I can give my heart to school, and if I can excel with school, I will have a better life. I will be okay. And I remember as a little boy making that decision, and in my heart, giving my whole life to it, that it would be okay if I just had time to study. So, Mark, I did. I started studying, and I started praying to God to help me so I could excel. And surprisingly, things started changing. I started doing better. I started excelling. And in Ghana, by the 9th grade, you take a national test, and whatever score you make qualifies you for high school, or you have to go back and take the test again. And by the time I was ready for this test, I had changed so much, I ended up scoring the best grade in the whole county. And people were kind of surprised because they knew this boy rarely went to school, so how did he do this? Anyway, I went on to high school. And
you actually take a test in Ghana you have to take a test to get into high school? Not everybody gets to go to high school in Ghana.
Not everybody.
You actually have to, in 9th grade, you took your test and you succeeded to high school.
Right. Okay. So I went to high school and I started studying biology, chemistry, and calculus, trigonometry, and all of those stuff to go to college, because I was planning on doing engineering in college, and that to God really started helping me. And I started representing my school in national debates and science quizzes. I was becoming the ideal student. All of a sudden, things started changing, because I believe when I prayed to God, God heard my prayer, and He started changing the circumstances around me.
Now, were you, at this time, you mentioned that you're living with your mom and your grandfather. Your grandfather at that time was into the tribal sorcery practices. He's the caretaker of the shrine. There's this belief about the dead and reincarnation, and they pray to the dead. So you have that whole culture, but you mentioned that your dad was a pastor, but then your dad left you. So did you just remember things about Jesus? Because you're in this house that doesn't believe that. So how did you know to even pray to Jesus?
Surprisingly, with everything Mom was going through, she would want us to go to church. And the church was about 2 minutes walk from where we lived. So Mom would want us to go to church, and she would push for us to go to church. Somehow, I believe she had a heart that there was God, because He's been with Dad with all this ministry work. But the thing was, when she got faced with challenges in her life, she hit a wall, she would turn to idol worship for answers. So she rarely made us go to church. She said, you got to go to church today, and it was mandatory. You have to go. So sometimes I went to church, and the pastors would be preaching about King Solomon and how wise he was. And so somehow I believe in my heart, wisdom comes from God, and if I needed one and I asked Him, He was going to give me. So that was pretty much where that prayer was coming from. It really wasn't from a knowing God. It was from a place of, I'm desperate, I need wisdom, and I know He can give me wisdom. And pretty much that was it. And we rarely went to church, sometimes a whole year, maybe 2 or 3 times in a year. Of course, we went to church on Christmas Day, on Easter Day. Those festive days we did go to church, just for the sake that you don't want to be classified as being a traditional man. Because this is what happened. when Christianity came, people began to look down on the traditional group, those who believe in sorcery and all that. So you had to go to church to look civilized, because they realized the Christians look decent, they live decently, and their life was different. Whereas the traditional guys were a little rough, and they look dirty and all this stuff. So you want him classified as a Christian and not a traditional man, but you still held on to the practices. So you went to the church with your idols, you still worship them, but you went to church. And that was pretty much what Christianity really is down there in Ghana. And it's still going on today. As we even talk, there is a whole national debate to build a national shrine in Ghana, because Christians build a national cathedral and the Muslims build a national mosque. So the traditionalists say we need a national shrine, and it's a pretty hot debate. They believe they are the indigenous people of Ghana and they have the right to have a shrine. Anyway, so that on the side. God started helping me with school. I finally wrote this national exam in high school, and this school I attended is pretty terrible. I mean, you have about maximum 3 people qualify for college from that school. And so I studied very hard, and I wrote that test. And while I was waiting to go to college, I started hearing a lot about, a church and a school in a town, and there were so many stories about this church and school, and it was pretty weird. I mean, there were some creepy stories, and I thought, this is quite interesting, but I wanted to find out for myself what it really was, because some things were very contradicting. I knew what happens when children live in environments like that, but the fruit I saw on the children who attended that school was totally different. The children were actually smarter, and they look courteous, so I thought things don't really match up. I'm going to find out.
This is the Word of Faith Christian School in Ghana.
Right. So I went there, and this school has a church attached to the school, and they were training children, and their whole belief was children are called to be ministers. And so they had that vision that they were putting the children, and it looked totally different. And I remember deciding I was taking my niece there, and that was a way I could find out if there was any hidden agenda behind all that.
You were actually going to try to enroll your niece there just to see what was going on?
That's right. So I took my niece and I enrolled my niece in the school. And it turned out she would come home and she started speaking very good English. And I thought, this is pretty interesting. She started reading. She was at this time in the 2nd grade. And I remember by the 6th grade, I could not read. So I thought, something is really different. So I decided I was going to teach there. So I walked up there, and I remember meeting the pastor and overseer of the school, and he's John and Tina Sudi, and we had a little conversation about teaching, and he said, sure, you can just write application and come over.
So you actually wanted to teach in the school. You saw how well your niece was doing, and so you were at this point. Did you graduate?
At this point, I graduated from high school.
Okay.
Yes, and I had passed my exam. I had not gotten admission to the college I wanted to. You normally have about 2-year waiting time before you went to college, and during that time, I thought, well, I'll spend these 2 years teaching and see what I could do and get out of life. So
did you actually? So you actually applied to go to a college,
right?
But you're waiting to hear back from the college, and while you're waiting, you decide I'm going to teach in this Christian school.
That's right, exactly right. So I got there and I started teaching, and John will have, I would teach during the day, and in the evening he started having Bible school. He said he's open to whoever is interested. And so most of us, the teachers, enrolled, and we started going. And Mark, it was really at that time I began to have a lot of answers to things that were happening. Well, let me back up one step. I left one very important part. Now, in the middle of all this struggle financially with mom and dad and the family, one of my bigger brothers completed high school. He actually completed a vocational training school, and he was getting a very good job. Well, a month or so after this job was awarded him, he started working, then he went insane. And literally, Mark, it was like I could not believe what just happened. The guy just started acting crazy. He was on the street, and I thought, what was this? How could this happen? I could not understand. I didn't understand why that could happen. And I remember getting so mad at myself, so mad at God. And I took a pen and paper, and I said, God, I'm going to write a letter to God. I mean, I didn't know to pray. I didn't know there was prayer. I just knew if I needed to get to somebody, I could write a letter to that person. I was so young, I didn't understand what I was actually doing. So I wrote that letter, and I remember walking into the sanctuary and putting that letter in the sanctuary. And to me, I'd written a letter to God, and God was going to tell me what happened to my brother. And at that point, I mean, I totally got shut down, and it was like there was nothing more to live for. If this could happen to my brother, that we're actually expecting to help me with school, we help with the finances of the family, then why do we even have to live? And that mom still doesn't know God, so all she knew is to take my brother to idol worshippers, to witch doctors, to figure out what was going on and probably help resolve the issue. But things got worse and worse because, you can fight devils with devils. I mean, whatever was happening to him was demon powers, and then you take him to another, fetish man, to another, spiritual man, and it never worked. So my brother got worse, and today is probably in the worst condition. But as time went on, it was like, God, I know you are real. I've heard a lot about you, and God, you got to help me. And the situations that happened after that situation with my brother was terrible, because the whole family went pretty nose down with so many situations every day with, destructive spirits. And I remember sometimes laying in that bed and feeling the presence of demon powers, and you feel it kind of want to choke and suffocate you. And I remember struggling with myself in sleep, and it's like I pray that I see them more. I pray that the sunlight comes. It's like, oh God, help me survive this night. It's horrible. So I know some people say there are no demons, and Christians can have devils, but I have experienced this firsthand. And so back to starting the Christian school and being the Bible school with John Sudi teaching, it was really the first time I saw somebody preach from the Bible, and everything the person said carries so much authority, and it was so accurate. And he was preaching about the practices, the pagan practices, and how God has the power to set you free, and preaching about the holiness of God and how we were called to be holy and the holy people. And Mark, I literally remember sitting there and feeling so filthy and thinking, God, you got to cleanse me up. God, I need you. Because of what I've grown up in, because of what I have personally experienced, what I've personally seen happen to people living with granddad. And I thought, God, you got to help me. And I began to feel that desperation to know God for myself. And I remember sometimes we'll listen to tapes and videos from the church here, because because Sam and Jane would send videos and tapes to our church for us to listen. And it was so precious. I remember one day Jane sharing up from, I think, Jeremiah, where he said, the fathers ate a grape. I'm sure you can help me with this scripture. The fathers ate a grape, and the children's teeth were set on edge. And she started explaining that and said it was like generational curses that parents gave to the sin, and the consequence was on the children. And I thought, a lot of answers started coming to. I began to understand a lot of things that were happening in my family and what I was really destined to be. And I remember, the desire rising up in my heart that you can make it with God, and you can serve God, and God has the power to change you. God has the power to change every circumstance about you and your family. And in the middle of all this transformation, I got a letter from this college that I applied to, and I've been admitted to come and do the engineering class that I've always wanted to do, Jim, all my life. Here is that letter. Christopher Aye, you are admitted to School of Engineering, and you have to report at a certain time. But this school is so competitive. You have about 2,000 people on the waiting list, and you have to do something to secure your place. You have to pay some money.
So you get this letter while you're teaching in this Christian school. You're going to the Bible school at night with John, the pastor there, and you're learning all about Jesus. God's doing this work in your heart. You have all these things going on that you're excited about. Yeah. Now you get this letter to leave and go to college. So what happens?
Right. It was, I tell you, I would say it was the toughest time in my life, knowing that God was changing me and changes were coming to me, and knowing that I was beginning to find answers to things that I'd never known all my life. At this time I was about 19 years, and now the very desires I've had all my life, it was time to take the next step towards that. And I was pretty split in two. Do I go to college, or do I just allow God to do what I was doing? to continue what he was doing and bring me to the point where I'm supposed to be. And I remember I really wrestled with myself because, I mean, those desires were so strong in my heart. I wanted to go to college, and I wanted to go to college. But then I saw my condition. I said, but I'm not ready to go to college. Anything can happen. And I remember starting to pray and cry out to God and say, God, I've got to find answers to this. God, I got to know what I'm supposed to do. And I remember God speaking to me and saying, you can go to college even when you are 50 years old. Right now, let's do first things first. Get your life in order. Get this done. God pretty much set everything on course and just said, my son, just walk in it. And I remember the peace of God that came in my heart when I heard that voice. I was just so excited. But before that happened, I needed to pay the fees because I didn't have the money.
So you got to pay the fees for college.
For college.
You're still thinking about going. You need the money.
Yeah. So I needed the money, and I didn't have it. So I went to John Sudi, the pastor of the church, and I said, will you mind loaning me this amount of money? And he said, sure. So he walks to his room and he brings me the money, and I just went and paid the money because in my heart I still wanted to go. But after I paid that money, that was when God really started speaking to me and said, I really don't have it for you to go now, God. It wasn't anybody telling me. It was me and God. At this point, I had nobody in my life. So I finally decided, okay, I was just going to obey God. I'm not going. I'll go when God wants me to go. And after that time, I tell you, Mark, it was like the visitation of God was so powerful. I could literally feel my life changing and things that are changing in my life. I stayed that year, and I think the next year or so, I went back to college, and I went back to doing accounting and administration, and completed with honors. Graduated with honors, went back to postgraduate school, and I actually just wrote my last exam for international CPA exam just last Monday. And so I went back to college. I just want to make sure you know. And I really excel with everything.
So when you went, so you decided to put off college at that time. You had just started going to Bible school. Bible school was really, God's Word was really changing your life.
That's right.
So you said you stayed there at the Bible school and you taught for a year, and then you went back to college. Were you able to continue to go to, I know John has the church there as well. Yeah. Were you able to still be a part of the school and go to the church there? Did you actually continue going to the church from then on?
Yes, that was one thing I really never want to lose because I didn't want to totally leave there. So I went to John. I told him what God had told me about, just staying and not going to college that year. And I just told him, I felt like God told me I'm part of this ministry. Will you please accept me and be a part of your work? And he just looked at me with this big smile and he said, you are very much welcome. We are pastors. God has called us to this area, and whoever God sends us, our arms are widely open. I became a son at that point, and so I moved in and I lived with him. I was like his older son, and we did everything together. And even when I started college, I still had opportunity to be helping the children over there. And when I graduated from college, I started helping with all the administrative work, still teaching the children. And there is nothing more precious in life than to help other people walk through the kind of difficulties you walked through when you were little. Because I began to realize people bringing their children to the school, and I could relate with what the challenges they were having. Children from broken homes, single family. Just a single mother with 8-10 children, and some growing up from that kind of traditional cottage environment and needing help. And all we could do was point them to Jesus and say, look, you can find God. And I would sometimes share my example of how I grew up. And so, a lot of people began to come to Jesus. And that is where, personally, once again, I can never take Sam and Jane Willie out of this, because I saw where they had such a vision and a heart for humanity to teach us how we could fight and can break out of demon powers, because demons are real. The power of prayer is real, and you will never acknowledge the power of prayer until you get to the point where you realize that you needed a savior, like I did. I needed a savior. I was tired of staying in that environment, that traditional sorcery, demon powered environment. I knew I would not live. I saw what happened to my brother, and I saw what happened to a cousin right in that environment. The demon powers took her over, and she started being the one conjuring out the spirit, and people consulting. And we were the same age. We grew up together. We played together. But just one day, it just happened that fast. And she was a totally different person. She had to be dressed like them. She had to live like them. And I knew what would have happened to me if I still live in that environment.
And you've seen this real, and you've seen the power of God deliver you and others from that. And we're just about out of time, and of course I know the rest of your story in a nutshell, because you and I have known each other for a long time. Of course, you end up coming here and visiting to our church for seminars, and then you actually become very close to Tabitha in our church right here in Spindale, and the two of you spend a lot of time together, and then eventually you guys get married.
We got married.
And then Tabitha moves
to our wedding.
And I was there with you. I went to your wedding. Christopher and I know each other very well, and I actually went to Westcon to your wedding. Tabitha from here moves there, and then since then God has blessed you two with two twins, two wonderful children.
I really want to say about those two children, because when we got married, doctors had told Tabitha that she could not have children because she had some major complications when she was young, but we knew God told us we were going to have children, so we just kept that in our heart. And when we were ready to have children, Jim, and we tried the first time, we had two of them, one boy and one girl. And I tell you, there's nothing more rewarding than seeing those two children in the house of God, loving God. They stand in front of the sanctuary and they sing and they dance, and they just love going to church. At least, and in fact, my son calls Mark Grandpa Mark.
That surprised me.
Yeah.
So thank you for sharing. That's so much to get in just a short time. We went a little bit over, but we thank you, listeners, for listening to the miracle from West Africa, all the way from West Africa, how God changed this young man's heart. This is Word of Faith, and we are here Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, 8 and 9. Thank you.
White House. Crews are checking thousands of